All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the New England Patriots because we're like 4 hours since the tampering period officially began for free agency in the NFL. And the Patriots have made a whole bundle of moves in the last 24 hours. Most of them thus far have been centered on the defensive side of the football. With Mike Vrabel as the new coach for this team, it comes as no surprise. But some of these players like Milton Williams, the Patriots snagged Carlton Davis. Yesterday, we saw Harold Landry, Morgan Moses, a brand new right tackle. I'm loving what I'm seeing. They've missed out on a couple of guys like Chris Godwin. Most notably, he re-signed with Tampa Bay. But I'm telling you, man, they are being aggressive. And we knew the New England Patriots came into this free agency cycle with the most cap space in the NFL for the second straight season, like $120 million. Last year, they botched it. Kraft knew they botched it, and they're making up for it right now with a brand new head coach, an intriguing rookie QB in Drake May. And we're going to talk about some of these free agent acquisitions because I just love what I am seeing. They're hitting so many positional needs, and just looking at their defensive depth chart as it stands right here in paper, even though it's March 10th, we don't have live Patriots football for forever. I'm amped up, and I'm sure Patriots fans are as well. And I expect in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, whatever, by the end of the week, essentially, I'm sure the Patriots will have made an extra bunch of offensive moves. But I'm losing my voice. Before we get into it, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post a couple of Patriots videos right now every single week. So if we could try and get this to 250 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. All right, the biggest one, in my opinion, was Milton Williams. This dude, Milton Williams, was a huge stud in the middle of the defensive line for the obvious Super Bowl winning team in the Philadelphia Eagles. And like the Patriots last year were dead last in sacks, right? And we knew Mike Vrabel was going to focus on the defensive trenches. We knew that they were also going to put a bunch of either free agent money or draft capital into rebuilding the offensive trenches, which we'll talk about more again in just 1 second here. But Milton Williams is unbelievably underrated. And if you watched the Super Bowl, if you watched the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs especially, Milton's a huge reason that that defensive line was that good. And I'm really glad that in 24 hours, the last 24 hours, I should say, the Patriots are just investing so much money into their defensive line. I think it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. If you can't dominate the offensive and defensive trenches, you are not going to win too many football games, and you're certainly not going to make the playoffs. You're definitely not going to win the Super Bowl. All right. We're having trouble talking. It's been a long day. Apologies on that. But this past season, at just 25 years old, he had 5 sacks and 24 total tackles. I know it doesn't sound too overwhelming, sounds a little underwhelming, but when you look into the film, it is, Milton's a stud. All right. He's a stud. 25 years old. He's a huge breakout player of the year candidate for me heading into next season. And then we also had Morgan Moses sticking to the trenches. The Patriots last year had like a committee approach. It was horrible. So I'm glad that they went into an established veteran. Morgan Moses is coming from the New York Jets, 34 years old. The reported deal is 3 years worth $24 million, and he has been a right tackle in his whole NFL career. So he's pretty much in pen as the Patriots right tackle for next season and the next couple of seasons, right? All right. The next one is huge. Carlton Davis, 3-year contract worth $20 million per season. Probably an overpay, but once again, the Patriots had a bunch of money, and sometimes you know who the guy is you want, and you'll just write him a check. But here's why I like Carlton Davis to the Patriots so much. Carlton, since he's gotten into, or the last couple of seasons, has been cornerback 1, and there's just been so much put on his plate. And last year with the Detroit Lions, the dude was a stud, but he started his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But my favorite thing is, and he hasn't played over 13 games in a couple of seasons, which sucks, but he's cornerback 2. Right? Because now you have star cornerback 1, Christian Gonzalez, and you're going to pair him up with Carlton Davis, and you still got Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar, like that secondary just took a major leap to the next level. And then staying on the defensive side of the ball, you've seen most of the Patriots move thus far have been defense. Robert Spillane, I've covered the Las Vegas Raiders on YouTube for a couple of seasons. I don't know why. I'll just tell you this right now. Like, just so you know, I'm not hyping it up for no reason. I have no reason why the Raiders didn't re-sign him. I have absolutely no reason. 158 tackles last year. The Patriots snagged him at $37 million over 3 years. He started his NFL career in 2018 playing with the Tennessee Titans under Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel. He was kind of just like a downhill run guy. And then he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers for 4 seasons and was still kind of like the same guy, you know, more of a situational run defensive linebacker. And in the past 2 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders, he's had like 150 tackles in both of the seasons, pass deflections, forced fumbles, sacks, tackles for loss, you name it. Robert Spillane entering kind of in the prime of his athletic NFL career. I love this. He was the best linebacker for the Las Vegas Raiders in the last 2 years. And once again, I don't know why they gave up on him. I don't know. Always has to do with money. One man's trash, another man's treasure. The Patriots got an absolute stud at the linebacker position. And then finally, we have Harold Landry, and this happened yesterday, about 24 hours or less than 24 hours ago. And I really like this. And people were freaking out on Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff because it's a 3-year, $43.5 million contract, but only $26 million of it is guaranteed. The Patriots need a better pass rush. They had 28 sacks last year. That needs to change, even if this is a slight overpay, even if Milton Williams is a slight overpay and there's a little bit of risk involved with the contracts. These are big-time moves. Harold Landry just had a down season, still almost had 10 sacks, and he bolsters the pass rush. He had 12 sacks in 2021. He had 10.5 in 2023 while playing for head coach Mike Vrabel with the Tennessee Titans, and he can do it all, but his specialty is getting after the passer. And once again, the Patriots had 28 total sacks this past season. That has to change. Folks, this approach that they're doing right now reminds me very similarly of the Washington Commanders last season. And like I said, it's like 4 p.m. on Wednesday. The tampering period began 4 hours ago, and the Patriots in the last day have already made like 5 different moves. You're going to see a bunch of offensive stuff go down soon. You're going to see a wide receiver via trade or just free agency go to New England. You're probably going to see some more offensive linemen go to New England in the next couple of days. They're making big time moves, and it reminds me just of what Dan Quinn did with the Washington Commanders last season. I give the Patriots offseason thus far an A+. I don't care how much money they've spent. That's what needed to be done. They needed to just get more studs, get more talented day one starters, and that's exactly what they've done. Folks, that's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for more, but let me know down below your grade for the Patriots free agency thus far. Peace.